And good afternoon, good noon to you here on a lovely Sunday day here in San Antonio. We've got clear skies and fantastic softball ahead for us. The Centenary ladies and the Trinity University Tigers coming into Game 3 of their series. They split a doubleheader yesterday. Trinity winning the first game 9-1, and Centenary bouncing back to take the second 2-1. Centenary coming in 15-13 on the year. Trinity 9-9. Introductions are being made as we speak, and then we will have the anthem. We can go ahead and look at the starting lineups here for the visiting ladies, and it's going to be Mackenzie Cox starting us off in right field. Mackenzie Clark at shortstop batting second. Kayla Patridge in left field batting third. Hitting cleanup and behind the plate will be Aaron Lewis. Cambry Bates will be the designated player. Britlin Garrett will bat sixth at third base. At second base, Jamie Wilkinson. Isabella Dominguez will bat eighth at first base. Mallory Stout will be in center field. And for the home Tigers, the faces you are familiar with, Sammy Whitman will lead off. She's leading the team with a .366 average this year. She will start at first base, and leading off, batting second in center field will be Gina Monaco. Third base, Maria De La Luna at batting third. Jordan Williams is the designated player. She is in the cleanup role. Christina Kish will start in right and bat fifth. Kat Weber will be behind the plate batting sixth. Diamond Elizondo will play second base batting seventh. Emily Vlaslavic, the shortstop, batting eighth. And Jenna Cash will bat ninth in left field. And Allie Holbrook will be on the mound for the Tigers. And we will take a look back at the field as they are just concluding with the anthem. And we are just about ready to get started here. And I'd like to welcome in Luke Terry to our broadcast, and we'll be taking you through the action today. And Luke, great to have you. And this is your first softball contest, so welcome.
Thank you, Josh. It's exciting. It'll be an interesting one to watch after the Tigers exploded for 9 runs in the first game of the doubleheader, but were held to just 1 in the second action of the day.
Yeah, and that offense has kind of been going back and forth. They exploded for quite a few runs in their Austin College series a few days ago, and then came back and struggled with Texas Lutheran, and that's not necessarily a surprise because they've Texas Lutheran ranked number 3 in the entire country and has a very good pitching staff. But then we saw some signs of life yesterday with Trinity, run ruling the ladies here in Game 1. And so I think that shows us what we can expect out of the team, that they've got the talent to put everything together. It's just a matter of what can they do consistently. And so, the SCAC tournament coming up here in a few weeks, that right now we're sitting in the 6th spot if you're looking at it from a Trinity Tigers standpoint, and that would put us in a first-round game against the ladies, who are currently holding a 3 spot with rounds 1 and 2 getting by. So, from the standpoint of what Trinity needs to do, I think this is kind of crunch time during the season, and I think we'll, hopefully see something start to come together here and start to gel for the Tigers.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. You mentioned that this ladies' team is currently sitting at 3rd in the SCAC standings as we get ready for this first pitch of the day here.
And a look at Holbrook as she is 7-4 on the year. ERA, that needs to be corrected, but 55 innings pitched on the year, 43 strikeouts. And we'll get the ERA changed over to a 7-inning situation instead of the 9.
But today these Tigers have a chance to perhaps steal a series against currently the Centenary team that's sitting in the 3 spot in the conference. Maybe even more exciting for this Tigers team is the fact that they've already played the top 2 seeds in the conference. So they'll finish out with a relatively easy schedule with some series against Southwestern and Dallas, both teams sitting in the bottom half of the conference. So from a Tigers perspective, currently sitting at 5-7 in conference play, they have an opportunity to go on a little bit of a streak to end the season and perhaps move up in the standings a little bit.
Yeah, and right now that's, I think, on the mind of most of the players. They feel like the season hasn't gone exactly how you would have wanted to this point, but 9-9 on the year is going to be good enough to at least get you into the tournament. And then the tournament time is when you need to start to focus. I think, some might consider it to be a foregone conclusion that Texas Lutheran is the top team, and there's really no chance of dethroning the Bulldogs. But we saw them here a few days ago, and I thought that if it comes down to playing two wonderful games, I think Trinity showed that they can put up a good fight. We were able to go for 6 innings and have a strong contest against them, and I think that lends some credence to the fact that during tournament time anything can happen, and try to salvage what you can out of what's really been a really wild and wacky 2021 season. It hasn't been consistent. It hasn't been, we went a couple of weeks without playing games, and it's just been really wild. And that one will be fouled off, so we'll do the 2-2 again. Mackenzie Cox standing in for the ladies.
But I think you make a really great point. It's been a really wild season as a whole for this Tigers team. We've seen postponements, we've seen games canceled, and it's tough to do, as we see a strikeout right there. It's tough to come out and play and compete against teams like Texas Lutheran that have played in 27 games on the year when you, as a Trinity team, only have 18 under your belt. So at a little bit of a disadvantage because of the fact that, they've had postponements and they've had those cancellations, and they've just come at inopportune times.
So with one down here in the first, Mackenzie Clark will step in. And not a lot of action here on the season for the freshman of Upland, California. Hitting .095 to this point. That one will be fouled off. And a little bit of an early start here today. Centenary will be traveling back to Louisiana at the end of the afternoon. That one rolled over to second base, and handling that one quite nicely was Diamond Elizondo, firing it over to Sammy Whitman at first, and there are 2 down here in the top of the first. Look to get the stats connected to the scoreboard here momentarily. But with 2 down, coming up to the plate will be Kayla Patridge for Centenary. And first pitch swinging will be fouled off. Solid .312 season, 12 RBI, 14 runs, and a home run on the year. That one down in the dirt, evens the count at 1. That one's left up. So now a 2-1 count. And Holbrook trying to breeze through the first inning here. And that one is fouled off. Tiger pitching did a great job yesterday. I mean, he won a game 9-1 and then lost the second one 2-1. I think head coach Abby Martin has got to be pleased with the performance here from her pitching staff, and that's a great job by Kat Weber. Good awareness. The runner was going to be safe if you play that in fair territory, and she lets it roll all the way back, saw the backspin on it.
Yeah, great job there by Weber. Holbrook throwing a nice clean inning here, hoping to get the Tigers up to the plate with a 0-0 mark on that scoreboard.
Strike away, and we'll wait for one more pitch. And there is Holbrook's updated ERA on a 7-inning reference, 3.27 on the year. Fairly respectable. Now Patridge looking to become the game's first base runner. And she does. She takes the walk after a lengthy at-bat. And that will take us to the 4 spot with Lewis coming to the plate. So Aaron Lewis, the runner on and 2 down. And nothing doing on the base paths, although Weber came up looking like she was ready to in the inning with a 2-6 or a 2-4 put out on a caught stealing. Lewis bloops that one to Holbrook, and she takes about 2 steps back, and she has the 3rd out of the inning. So wasn't entirely 1-2-3, but I think an inning that Holbrook will be very happy with. And we go to the bottom half of the first. Legger will be in for pitching duties for the ladies. When we return, it'll be Whitman to lead off with Monaco batting second. Watching the Tiger Network here live from San Antonio. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Bottom of the first, and the Tigers are going to get started against Haley Legger. And Legger, 7-7 record on the year, but you look at the numbers, and they look pretty impressive. 94 innings pitched, 70 strikeouts to just 11 walks. The whip sitting at 1.01, so essentially 1 base runner an inning. And that ERA representative of that at 1.64. She's going to get started off against Sammy Whitman here for the Tigers. And Whitman now leading the team in average at 366. 15 hits this year. She scored 10 runs. We'll see if Whitman can find a way to get on base.
Yeah, Josh, and you mentioned Legger's really impressive numbers to start this year. That ERA good for 2nd best in the conference, total of 7 wins, tied for 4th best in the conference. But after what we saw out of her in the doubleheader, you're going to wonder what version the ladies will get from her in the circle today.
She has fallen behind Whitman here early, and for the Tigers, that's great news. And you face somebody who's averaging just maybe 1 base runner an inning. If you can get the leadoff runner on, Whitman with 15 hits on the year, that leads the team as well. And then right behind her is going to be Gina Monaco, who waits on deck. She's also got 15 hits this year. So 2 of the Tigers' best, and she slaps that one over. She's going to reach on the error coming over from the third baseman. And really just an uncharacteristic play from the ladies. I'll get another look at it. Just a little slapper. She had plenty of time, and I think just Whitman's speed might have forced the issue there. And that puts a runner on now for Gina Monaco, and from Monaco's perspective, she doesn't really care how the runner got on before her. She's just got a job to do now to bring her across. 3:13 average for the senior. Listed out of Orlando, Florida, and then spent her youth and high school time here in San Antonio, attending MacArthur High School, not terribly far away from campus. She's behind now, 0-2. Of course, we've mentioned it on other broadcasts, but Monica's work within the community, helping out disadvantaged youth, and not only herself, but getting the rest of her student athletes involved into it and turning it into a university-wide, or at least an athletic department-wide initiative to raise money for local area children. Just a fantastic job there, as well as hitting 313 on the season, and that one just foul. Otherwise, that might have been a double here for Monaco. Missed it by maybe 18 inches. She'll get another crack at it with the 1-2 count. Umpire doesn't like the unvelcroed gloves. That'll be attended to. Whitman over at first. Nobody out here, bottom of the first. That one's inside. Evens the count now for number 22 at 2 apiece.
Yeah, and good job by Monaco right here. After falling behind 0-2 early in this count, fouling a bunt off, has done a nice job to battle back, even it up, and make Lager work out on the mound.
That one put in play over to second base. And not quite a sacrifice, but it does the same thing as Wilkinson will throw over to Dominguez to retire Monaco. But she pushes the runner over to second base, and that will bring up De La Luna. And Marina De La Luna hitting .244 on the year. 5 RBI, has a runner in scoring position. But you see the number there next to the runs, 3 home runs. And Trinity not really known for their power hitting in the past. So a bit of a change, at least for us that have watched, to see somebody with multiple home runs on a year. We've had a few recently as well. The lineup started to get stronger. There were some years not terribly long ago where we didn't have any home runs on the season. So good to see maybe more of a complete team with power and speed. Lager trying to work around the error to Whitman. She fell behind to the first batter 3-0 and then battled back, and then Whitman hit a slapper over to third. That one was thrown away on the throw over to first. Monaco pushing Whitman over to second with a sacrifice. And now De La Luna pops this one into shallow right. And so that will be an out as Cox comes in to field it. Don't think that the sun's an issue right there, but not terribly it's more straight up into the sky at this point. And that'll bring up Williams. Jordan Williams, the cleanup hitter. Batting .304 on the year, also has a couple of home runs. 8 runs scored, but 19 RBI, and that OPS just under 1,000. Above average hitter when you've got the OPS above 900. That's what Lager is dealing with here with Williams. Behind in the count now, 2-0.
Yeah, and after getting the leadoff runner on in the inning here, the Tigers have recorded the next 2 outs, so they'll have a little bit of work cut out for them to try and get that runner home here and grab an early lead. But a good sign that they've been able to put the ball in play off of Laker, who has recorded quite a few strikeouts on the year and typically isn't going to walk many batters.
And the second time she's run a 3-0 count now. Started Whitman off of a 3-0 count and then battled her way back. This will be good for Williams, who now can, sit down and just kind of look for the pitch to hit instead of having to force something. And that is a walk. So second base runner of the inning here for the Tigers. And 2 down, but they do have Christina Kish coming to the plate. And for Kish, junior out of Tucson, Arizona, chance to get her first RBIs on the season. And with 2 down now, I think a base hit would more than likely bring home Whitman. This one laced into right field. That one down right in front of the right fielder. The run is going to try to come home. Whitman now avoiding the tag on the run back, and that will load the bases. I was going to say that more than likely would score on a hit unless it was a hard shot right at somebody. And now we've got bases loaded here.
Yeah,
that's exactly what Kish did.
Tough break for Kish, certainly looking to bring home her first runners of the year, but at the end of the day, she'll take this base knock with 2 outs to load the bases here for the Tigers.
And don't mind the stats on the scoreboard there, and that'll get corrected. It looks like they may have gone to the next inning. So this is Kat Weber at bat. And Weber with the bases loaded. Looking to do some damage here for Trinity. See the home run on the season, 8 RBI, just 200, but she's hit well in the games that we've covered her here at home. She is behind 0-2. Base is full of Tigers. And a senior looking to break the door open. That one left out. Be ball 1. And that is a big strikeout from Legger. And that'll leave the bases loaded here for the Tigers. But early on, even though they can't bring any across, if you're a Tiger fan, you like what the offense is doing. So they strand 3, and they will be looking to continue their success defensively as Centenary comes about here in the top of the second.
And we welcome you back here to San Antonio at Trinity University as we begin the top of the second inning. Tigers look to have something going there in the bottom of the first with the bases loaded and 2 outs, but were unable to scratch a run, and the defense will come back out to look to hold it where it's at.
Yeah, and Cambry Bates will be trying to push something forward here for the ladies. 319 on the season, batting in the 5 spot here today. 3 home runs on the year, 9 RBI. It seems like doesn't get a whole lot of people in front of her when she does decide to go yard, and she's got the situation here, but she pops the first one up. And Weber and Whitman going for it. It's going to be Weber calling off Whitman, and the catcher makes the catch.
Yeah, and a good job by Weber there. A couple of defensive plays here early on made by the Trinity catcher. We saw that little pop-up in the first inning that catcher decided not to play, let it roll foul, and a smart decision in the end, as it likely would have allowed the runner to reach base safely.
Brittlin Garrett with 1 down. And we talked briefly during the break. We like Holbrook's approach. She's working quickly. That one's fouled off. You know, pitch count doesn't really mean anything here in softball other than just maybe general fatigue as the natural arm movement allows you to be able just to kind of pitch without really tiring out the shoulder. But that one is roped into left field, but going over and making the catch in foul territory for the second out of the inning is going to be Cash. And Jenna will put that one away. 2 down.
Yeah, and you mentioned Holbrook working quickly here, and in addition to the fact that she's working rather fast in the circle, she's done a really good job working to get ahead of hitters too. Seeing some ladies' bats up in the batter's box, being forced to swing it as they fall behind in counts early on.
Wilkinson steps in, and the junior from Texas will still looking for that first hit for the ladies, as Holbrook issued a walk in the first inning, but that was the only base runner. And I was going to say, like, the pitch count doesn't matter. It's just more of general fatigue. But I think it's also a good indication of, where a pitcher stands on how they're going about their innings. If you see somebody maybe with 40 pitches in the second inning, it's more of an indication that they've fallen behind quite a bit. And that one is floated between right and center. And Monaco will drift over and make the out. And so Holbrook, just 26 pitches through 2, working very effectively. And that's our first 3 up, 3 down inning. And we head to the bottom half of the second. And the Tigers will be coming to the bat when we return. Bottom half of the second, Diamond Elizondo to lead us off. And first pitch swinging here for Elizondo. She'll be behind in the count, 0-1. 238 on the year. A couple of RBIs, a couple of runs scored. First year out of Stevens here in town. And that one is put down the right field line and just foul. Take another look. I thought that one might have still carried and stayed fair.
You see in that shot the flag out in center field showing you the wind blowing right to left, so not even strong winds able to keep that one in play. Tough break for Elizondo there to start off the inning.
Really solid hit, even though it lands foul. Puts her in the hole 0-2. She'll look at that one outside. A good eye now. Evens the count. Trinity concluding a 3-game series here with Centenary today and then hosting Our Lady of the Lake on Tuesday. Game starting at 5 and then be a doubleheader, so 5 and then scheduled for 7 and maybe 7:30 if all the games this year have been any indication. And then a big series next weekend at Southwestern. Tigers need some wins to close out the season as they come back and have a 3-game set on the 24th and 25th. Elizondo down on strikes after the count had run full. And Emily Vlaslavic will now stand in. Had batted leadoff quite a bit this year, but now down the order. I think that's a good problem to have, is when you had somebody who can bat leadoff, kind of fill back in at the bottom spot and maybe turn the lineup back over and get rallies going late into the order. A good eye now, 2-0. Our average sitting at 250, and in the TOU series, I felt like she was robbed out of a couple of hits. The umpire kept calling her for being out of the box, and there were a few that we reviewed and didn't quite see it the same way he did. And that one will be a base hit for Vlaslavic as she's on with one down.
Yeah, tough play over there at third base. Third baseman coming in and crashing and ends up playing that one on a little bit of a nasty hop. But a good job by Vlaslavic, exactly what you'd expect out of someone that's hit leadoff at times, works to get ahead in the count, and then sees a pitch that she likes, puts it in play, and is able to reach safely.
So now the 9 spot, Jenna Cash. Chance to move the runner over. She tries to lay down the sacrifice. Cash ends up taking second on that one. I thought maybe she had gotten just a piece of it on the bunt. Let's go back and look. But they're going to leave her at second.
Yeah, it looked rather close as to whether or not she was able to get a piece of that one.
I think it's just the angle we have, because you see the ball kind of through the bat at that point. Didn't really change direction. So just a missed bunt. But if she was looking to lay down a bunt, I think everything all being equal, it worked out for Trinity. So Slavic was able to get the stolen base. Now Cash behind 0-2. That one left up. No. I'm going to say she offered at it. And that'll take us back to the top of the order and Sammy Whitman. So Whitman 0 for 1. She reached on an error after she started the count off 3-0. Took a strike and then slapped the 3-1 pitch over to third base. This one right back to Legger, and That'll do it here for the second. And we will head to the third inning in just a moment. Got a little bit of a pitcher's duel developing. We'll be back on the Tiger Network. Top of the third inning, Isabel Dominguez will step in for Centenary. The freshman out of California. Hitting .235 on the season. Facing off against Allie Holbrook. Like you had mentioned earlier, just working her way ahead in counts, and she starts off with an outside strike here to Dominguez. Second pitch, maybe just up a bit, so even the count.
Yeah, great job by Holbrook to start this one. Gave away one walk in the first inning, but a clean inning in the top of the second. She'll look to repeat that here.
And that might be a base hit. We'll see how it's scored. Take another look. This one just under the glove. The Slavic over there could go either way. It's going to be a tough throw for Vlaslavic for her to come up and make that, so we'll look at the official scoring. And they do give Vlaslavic an error, so a tough error to take, and Stout fouls that one. Two RBI and 6 runs on the year. Out of Trinity High School in Trinity, Texas. Now Holbrook trying to get back in there and work with some rhythm. And raises that one upstairs. Gets Stout to offer, and now the 0-2 count. Fantastic pitch here from Holbrook.
Yeah, really great job by Holbrook after the error to start the inning in the infield. Does a good job to come back, get a second hitter who seemed willing to give away an out, offered with a bunt in the second pitch of the at-bat, but for Holbrook to be able to strike her out without allowing the runner to move over. Big first out for the Tigers there.
Cox first pitch swinging. She'll fly out now. 0 for 2. So Holbrook now at 2 down, runner on first. A lot has changed in the last 2 pitches. Kenzie Clark 0 for 1 on the day. throw back over, and the runner was almost caught napping, but did a good job to get back, and a nice job by Weber to keep the runner honest. This one roped foul.
Yeah, and a good job by Weber right there. Really a closer play than it might have looked like, with a little bit of a lower throw on that one. Whitman might be able to get a quick tag down for an out there.
The 1-1's left up. So Clark ahead in the count 2-1. Holbrook's offering. Down low. The first time she's really fallen behind a batter now.
Yeah, and perhaps a little bit too much concern regarding the base runner right now. With 2 outs in this inning, really want to attack this hitter.
And that one left up. So 2 runners on now. And to the 3 spot in the order with Patridge. So 12 RBI on the season, 312 average. So a little bit of a concern here for the Tigers. Centenary's already gotten out of a similar jam in the first. Kelly Patridge, 2 down now, but Holbrook still working in command. Has yet to allow a hit. Runners have reached on walks and an error. If Patridge able to reach, Lewis awaits on deck. Holbrook hoping to send it back to the heart of the Tigers order, with Monaco, De La Luna, and Williams due up here in the bottom half of the inning.
Yeah, and you mentioned a similar situation that the ladies had to deal with defensively in the bottom of the first inning. As that one chopped to third, and play will be made as Tigers step on the bag. A little bit of a different situation there, different complexity, as the ladies had their 3-hole hitter up to the plate, but at the end of the day, nothing came across, so the Tigers will move to the bottom of the third unscathed, looking to jump ahead in this one.
So bottom half of the third inning, and it's going to be Gina Monaco to get us started. De La Luna and Williams will be up as well, and if anybody can get aboard, Kish, Weber, Elizondo, Vasalvik, and Cash, all maybe looking to get a chance here in the third, maybe have another big inning, similar to how the Tigers treated yesterday, winning the first game 9-1. Liger's first pitch in for a strike. Center fielder watches that one sail away. And they'll even the count at 1. Monaco All-SCAC second team back in 2019. That was the last full season. This one rolled over to short. And making the play will be Clark. Firing over to Dominguez.
Yeah, a nice play by Clark right there. Looked like the third baseman was ranging over, but the shortstop called her off, fielded that one cleanly, and then made a really strong throw across the diamond to record the first out here.
That'll give us Marina Della Luna with 1 down, 0 for 1 on the day. She swings through. 0-1. That was her offensive MVP back in high school. Looking to get some offense rolling here for Trinity. She flew out to right field in her first at-bat. And that one's going to find the gap in right center. So Marina Della Luna with the base hit. That'll bring up Jordan Williams, but another look at the gapper into right center.
Nice piece of hitting by Della Luna right there. Sees that pitch down and away, lets it travel, get deep in the batter's box, and sends that one a little bit in the opposite direction into right center field.
Benny Snyder in to run for Della Luna. She will go over to first for Jordan Williams, now with 1 down. Williams took a walk back in the first inning. First pitch low for ball 1. Williams hoping to major in biology, go into forensics. Maybe she can figure out the Tigers' offense here and get it started. First year out of Clayton, California. Heading the count 2-0. Fouls it back. And Snyder is going to be called out. Take a look at it. My guess is she left before the pitch. Yeah, she's already gone. And there's the pitch there. You see the umpire making the call. So there'll be 2 down. And Williams with a 2-1 count. That one's low, so now 3-1. So a base running mistake here for the Tigers, maybe taking them out of contention on the inning. With 2 down, Williams could correct the scoreboard in favor of Trinity. With 1 swing of the bat, already 2 homers on the year, has a 3-1 count. And the count's going to run full. Lager looking to get out of another inning in which a base runner reached. And she will actually make that 3-2 now thought that the pitch that Snyder was called out on was a foul ball, but apparently I was mistaken.
Perhaps a no pitch on that one.
Yes, thank you. That would be the solution there. And Lager will get the strikeout, and we will head to the fourth inning. So we might be seeing a little bit of a pitcher's duel. Lager with some impressive numbers coming in on the year, and we have seen how impressive Holbrook can be when she's on top of her game. And she'll be back out there for the top of the fourth when we return. Top of the fourth, and Holbrook cruising along so far. And Aaron Lewis going to try to get Centenary going for the first time really today. They've had a couple of base runners last inning, but that was an error and a walk. And see Holbrook again with that first pitch strike. Two-time All-SCAC member in 2018-2019. Coming in, that one inside now, 1-1.
Yeah, Holbrook just off the plate there, but as you mentioned, got ahead in the count 0-1 and a really competitive second pitch. That one looked to be just off the plate. So Holbrook making these ladies hitters think about every pitch that she throws.
Deluna fires over. There's one down. Couple of good defensive plays by Deluna over there at the hot corner. Getting the chopper to end the second, or excuse me, to end the third inning. Just reaching over and touching the bag. And then getting the first out here. Cambry Bates. Look at strike one. 0 for 1 on the day. She fouled out to first. Rise ball from Holbrook just looked fantastic today. Everybody trying to take their hack at it. So far, not even being able to foul it away.
Yeah, and Holbrook also has that changeup working. You saw it in the first at-bat of this inning, and pairing those two pitches together makes Holbrook a really difficult pitcher in the circle to nail down.
We see it a little bit on both sides, too. Lager trying to work within a rhythm after that first inning where she loaded the bases. She's sort of found that rhythm. Holbrook has had that rhythm the entirety of this game, even with runners on. She felt like she was in command. Just watching some of the body language as she gets up there and works quickly. She doesn't look flustered. That one's fouled back up off the big green cage. So we've got maybe a chance to peek inside the cage with the angles here with those. We hope that they're more to your liking. It can be really difficult to continue to try to watch softball from this point of view consistently. You get a great look at it. It's just lots of distraction in front of you and the field. Now the 1-2 again, and I like the idea from Holbrook. Couple of swings, maybe you catch Bates being a little jumpy. The count runs to 2-2.
Yeah, that's one thing that Holbrook has done really well in this game. She's operated in and around the zone for the most part. So we see her do so again there, resulting in another foul ball. So putting something a little bit further out of the zone, absolutely not a bad idea. As you said, these hitters forced to swing a lot so far in this game. So putting something out of reach when they might have already made up their mind before that pitch is delivered is a good approach for Holbrook, I'd say.
Yeah, Bates doing a good job of staying alive. That one hitting the target, but the umpire decided that Weber had already set up too far outside. Count runs full. So really the first lengthy at bat against Holbrook as well. That one will be fouled off, and we'll continue on. Get a good look at the wind, and you can probably hear it a little bit in the background. On Friday, it was pretty still all around town. Yesterday, a little bit of cold front blew through. And that one roped into the gap. And that'll be the first hit of the afternoon here for the ladies. And Holbrook with that full count, leaving that one up over the middle of the plate. Let's see, a couple of hops before the wall. I'm curious how much of that lengthy at bat led to Holbrook maybe either just being frustrated with it. I mean, it's not uncommon to kind of have to come back and throw it over the strike zone. But that one felt like that was probably a miss.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. She did a really good job throwing in the strike zone during that at-bat. Seemed to hit a lot of her spots, but most of them were on the corners, bottom of the zone, top of the zone. Got some swings and misses that she induced, especially with that rise ball that we saw early in the count. But Bates did a good job right there, continuing to battle and foul pitches off. Holbrook, I'm sure, wasn't happy with that no call that moved the count to 3-2 and followed it up with a pitch that just caught too much of the plate.
And normally not too much cause for concern, but when you've got a game that's sitting 0-0 already into the fourth and basically a pitcher's duel happening on both ends, you might want to have that long meeting that we just had. As Garrett comes up 0 for 1 on the day, she flew out to left field, and that hits her, or I guess it was fouled off. Initial view looked like it had maybe hit her. Umpire calls foul ball. And you'll see that I'm blind. Didn't see it hit off the bat first. I saw it hit off of her shin after. That one's laced into left field, but that will go foul and be 0-2.
We've talked a little bit so far today about the fact that Holbrook's worked really quickly and she's worked with a little bit of traffic on the bases. But it'll be interesting to see how she follows up the first real solid contact from this ladies lineup. as some of the previous base runners had reached on a walk and an error in the infield. So we'll see if Holbrook can respond, continue to be impressive as she has been for pretty much the entirety of this one.
Jessie Daigle into pinch run. You see her into the screen there. She runs for Cameron Bates. Had that double. A good waist pitch. If you've gotten Garrett to swing at almost everything so far this at bat. On the 1-2. There's the strikeout to make it 2 down. Once again, just getting that rise ball working. She's done a great job of changing the elevation all day today. Now Wilkinson 0 for 1. Fouls that one back.
Yeah, and some nice sequencing in that last at bat out of Holbrook as well. Got ahead 0-2, went soft away, and Garrett was able to lay off of the pitch to move the count to 1-2, but good job by Holbrook to come back on the inside, it looked like, and no chance for Garrett to catch up to that pitch.
Catching the corner there for the strike. That looks really similar to where that one pitch to Bates was, but gets the call this time, and it is 0-2 now for Wilkinson. This one popped up. Della Luna is going to call everybody off, and she'll make the catch, and just like that, Ellie Holbrook fights back and is out of the jam. Runner on second. Gives up a hit, but doesn't allow anything further. And we go to the bottom half of the fourth. You see the line score there. Let's see if somebody can get the bats going. We'll be back in just a bit. Bottom half of the fourth inning, Christina Kish, 1 for 1 on the day. Had the single into right field back in the first inning. So she'll be looking to get Tigers started off again. 2 hits on the day for Trinity. Just 1 for Centenary. Legger and Holbrook have pretty much been the talk of this game so far.
Yeah, but opportunities in pretty much every inning for the Tigers here today. Saw runners get into scoring position in both the first and second innings. Had a runner reach first base last inning, but a mistake on the base paths cost them an opportunity. Had a runner on first with 1 out, but runner left early, resulting in the second out of the inning as Kish grounds this one to the right side, and the ladies are unable to come up with that one cleanly, so she'll reach for the second time today, and the Tigers have something going here to start the fourth.
Oh, just a bad carom, and then good backup, but not going to have a chance to catch Kish. So that should go as a hit, and we'll see what they officially give it. I would imagine that they look at a hit. The umpire we're going to have a pinch runner again, so coming into run's going to be Emily Bearfield.
But a good job by Kish on that one. Put that one in play, and when you see a little bit of a softer hit ball towards the first baseman, might be motivated to slow it down a little bit. But ran that one out hard, and considering the fact that the ladies bobbled it a couple times in the infield, but still were able to make it a closer play, important that she ran that one out hard.
And a tough luck error given by the scorer. Thought that hop at the end, you can argue that you should probably be in front of that ball defensively. That hop at the end really caromed quite crazily for a first baseman to try to field, and that one should be a single for Kat Weber on the sacrifice bunt. We'll see if that is given any type of a fielding error. There was just a bad angle taken.
Yeah, an unfortunate break for the ladies there. So we'll see this bunt again down the first base line. Just seemed to overrun it a little bit. And Trinity catcher able to reach base safely here. Tough break for the ladies, as anytime your opponent is offering you a free out, you really want to try and come away with it. But there the Tigers will try and take third base, but will be thrown out in their attempt to do so.
Yeah, great job covering by the shortstop. And that's Clark. Weber moves over to second, but Tigers could have had 2 on here for Elizondo. Now there's an out in the inning. We're talking in between innings here, how the pace of softball, once it gets really going, can be one of the most hectic sports. And I think just the last couple of pitches here have kind of shown that. And now a little bit of a momentary break. Elizondo's ahead 2-0. They do give Weber the single. And looking back at the replay, the one thing I noticed was that the spin of the ball maybe pushed it one way. Charging in, you didn't expect it to run, and Dominguez not able to make the adjustment. So now Weber on second after the double steal attempt. Ends up with a caught stealing for Emily Bearfield. Just pinch running for Kish. And Elizondo, say, did she offer on it? She did. Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looks like she tried to hold it from the view that the second baseman or the second base umpire has. I'd say that felt like she went through. Now 2-2. Full count. This could be a situation where whoever scores first walks away with the W. Tigers looking to strike here. That one will be down in the dirt. There'll be 2 aboard once again. And Slavic will step up to the plate. So for 1 on the day, reached on an error by the third baseman. Not able to see. My guess is the gate is open out in left field. Really the only thing I would ever imagine a left fielder leaving the field for, especially leaving their glove. finally get into the Vlaslavic at bat. And Leji with the pitch.
And Vlaslavic, in her last time up to the plate, did a good job to get ahead in the count, something that we talked about having to do with the fact that she's spent some time at the top of this lineup as a leadoff hitter, trait that you look for in that role. Did a good job to get ahead and eventually saw a pitch that she really liked and sent it to the left side of the infield.
And a fantastic sacrifice for Vlaslavic's going to make it a base hit. So back-to-back, well, not back-to-back, but Weber with the sacrifice bunt that goes for a single, and now Vlaslavic with a sacrifice bunt that goes for a single. And the Tigers have bases loaded, one down.
Yeah, some tough luck for the ladies in this inning, but just a couple of balls that are really well placed off the Tiger bats right here.
Yeah, it's just the rotations were correct. Shortstop moving over to third, and just a very well-placed bunt by Vlaslavic.
Yeah, and a third baseman crashing there, but that one really in no man's land. Looked like a collision was due between the third baseman and the pitcher Lager on the mound, or in the circle, I should say. But again, the Tigers have the bases loaded, this time with only one out, and Porter stepping into the batter's box.
In the first year, see, not a lot of stats on the year, coming in as the pinch hitter. That one left out over the middle of the edge of the plate, and it's given a ball. So, although I will say that the angle that we have here, not necessarily straight on, a little bit harder to tell balls and strikes, especially on that outside corner. And that one, as you see from here, that one probably high, but I'd say it probably was not too far off the edge of the plate.
Yeah, and a little bit of a smaller zone today from the umpire behind home plate. We've seen things called pretty consistently both ways, I'd have to say, as Porter fouls that one off, moving the count even to 2-2.
Leji trying to fight back. I mean, bases loaded. If you can get a strikeout, you put yourself into a great position. You only need one out. The order does flip back over to the top, and Sammy Whitman on deck. That one into right center, and that will score a pair of Tigers and make it all three. A bases clearing single for Brooke Porter. And I will double check to see. That might be her first. I'm going to give her 2 RBI. Saying that the other run came in on the throw.
Yeah, it looks like that one was bobbled out there in right center field. So we see the replay right there. Drops in. Right fielder has trouble coming up with it cleanly at first, allowing that third runner to cross the plate here for the Tigers. But they jump out ahead in similar fashion to what they did in their win yesterday. We're able to cross 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. So Whitman will step in, cueing the top of the lineup here for the Tigers, looking to continue with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th.
And for Brooke Porter, that is her first collegiate hit here for the Tigers. And also her first RBI. She gets 2 of them, but she clears the bases and the Tigers take the 3-0 lead. That'll be a memorable first hit. The umpire says that she was still in the batter's box when that one came through. Correct call being made. But she's down 0-2 is Whitman. over to third. We're going to play for the lead runner at second, and it's the play you have to make, and well executed. That could have spelled disaster if that went into right field. But Garrett firing over to Wilkinson to retire Porter. They're now 2 down with the runner on first for Gina Monaco.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, good play by Garrett there. That one a bit easier than some of the nasty hops that we've seen in the infield today. That one hard hit, stayed on the ground, and she fired that one over nicely to second base.
Monaco going down the right field line, but it's going to be just foul. For 2 on the day. She's grounded out to either side of second, over to second base side first, and then, the second base position first, then over to short in her second at bat. Leger now to the 70 pitch mark here for 3 2/3. That one off the back foot. Be ball 1. One left up. Mentioned earlier about Monaco's endeavors with the Trinity Buddies program, helping raise funds for underprivileged San Antonio youth. And you can find out more about that on Twitter at Buddies, Buddies, Trinity, Buddies Trinity all together. And you can look into that. Feel free to make a donation if you choose, and you can also specify which athletic team you'd like to support, because along with members of the Student Athletes Advisory Council, they've kind of gotten all 18 teams on board. Fantastic initiative. Down on strikes, and that will end the 4th. But the Tigers strike. Brooke Porter with the bases clearing single. She brings in with 2 RBI, but she brings 3 across. And the Tigers take the 3-0 lead as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Top of the 5th inning. It'll be Isabel Dominguez trying to fight back here for the ladies. The Tiger offense has gone ahead and staked Allie Holbrook 3 runs. And with the way she's been pitching today, they are hopeful that that's all that they will need, but that is why we play the innings out. And Holbrook 9 outs away from having herself a fantastic Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. And this type of run support would have been enough for the Tigers yesterday in the second game of that doubleheader. Holbrook able to hold the ladies to just 2 runs in the second game of that doubleheader action. But in this one, a good job by Leji in that last half inning to really limit the damage. Bases loaded. Unfortunate that they were cleared on just one hit.
It's popped up over to second for the first out of the inning. Elizondo. Very short range to have to get to that one. Yeah, and I think anytime you have two pitchers really doing a fantastic job, and you're always going to have a hard luck loser out of something. And for Holbrook, she's pretty satisfied right now and trying to continue on, but it's not her. Kristen Gomez will come in to pinch hit. 200 on the year. Fouled back, 0-2.
See another close pitch there. Just miss the outside corner, maybe a little bit down and away on that one. But again, Holbrook way ahead in the count, can afford to waste pitches, especially when they're as close as that last one was.
And a big strikeout for Holbrook. 2 down here, top of the 5th. Cox 0 for 2. Struck out to start the game and flew out to left back in the 3rd. Nice job from Weber trying to frame that. But the umpire says no, and it's 2-0.
Count moves to 3-0 here, and again, we saw a close pitch, but not much help being offered to these pitchers in the circles today, although neither has really needed it. As for the majority of this contest, it's been a pitcher's duel.
That one catching the outside corner, now 3-1. And it's probably a good thing that they haven't been getting a lot of extra help out there. Otherwise, probably wouldn't see very many people even being able to put a bat on the ball at this point. And the foul ball makes it a full count, so we see Holbrook fight back from 3-0. So she can find a way to get it out of the top of the 5th, or if Cox can find a way to extend it here for the ladies. Ripped back up the middle, and Holbrook sending out her glove for a second. A little fortunate that she didn't snag that one. It's the line shot. Would have been a fantastic catch. But into center, and the second hit of the afternoon for the ladies. We'll put a runner on with 2 down here. Kinsey Clark with a ground out and a walk. Throw back over, and Whitman doing a good job of keeping that one in.
Yeah, and Clark, the 2-hole in this ladies lineup, steps in, looking to continue this inning, trying to piece something together. The ladies have had some action on the base paths, but really haven't been able to string together hits or walks. But runner moving here will take second without a throw down. So Clark trying to bring in the ladies' first run of the game, offer Leji in the circle a little bit of support as they try and make their way back into this one, currently down 3-0.
And that's what I think Kat Weber was talking about right there. That one's popped up. That should end the inning, and I guess the point's not going to be that big of a deal, but I think Weber was trying to say that the runner had left early. Trinity's already been called out on it once, so. But that'll take us through 4.5. As Clark pops up, Holbrook still cruising along. She's just given up 2 hits. We come back for the bottom half of the 5th inning. Tigers will have a chance if they can get a good rally going to make it a short one here and see if they can do another run roll game. But we'll be back here in just a bit. Bottom half of the 5th inning. And it's going to be Della Luna to start us off here. As the umpire was looking to maybe do some substitutions there, I was double checking. Marina 1 for 2 on the day. Flew out to right before she got a single into right. That single coming back in the 3rd inning. First pitch swinging and sends it off foul. And you guessed it, right field. Tiger offense really coming alive there in the 4th. 5 hits for them collectively. Plating 3. Well, 5 on. 3 of those were in the 1st inning. 1 in the 2nd, and then 1 in the 4th. That one into right center. And going back and carrying is going to be Cox, and she does make the catch. It was a really good piece of hitting here for Marina Della Luna.
Yeah, Della Luna got a lot of this one, and it stayed up there, continued to carry out towards the wall, but a good job by Cox. Had a read on it the entire time and was able to run that one down in the outfield.
That brings up Jordan Williams. Williams 1 for 1 with a walk. Struck out in the 3rd. She takes first pitch for a strike. Leji's defense behind her with 4 errors. She's given up 3 runs and just 2 of them earned. Now 2 walks and has given up the 5 hits here in 4 1/3.
But overall, I feel that the freshman in the circle has been very impressive on the day. You mentioned those errors, a 3-spot put up in the bottom of the 4th inning, but despite all that, Leggy has not been frustrated in the circle, has responded really well, working ahead in the count here in the bottom of the 5th inning, trying to keep this game right where it's at to give the ladies a chance to get back in it.
Brings that one a bit too far inside to even count at 2 now. On the other side, Holbrook, 5 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 hits allowed. 5 strikeouts here for Leggy. And that one chops back up the middle, deflected by Leggy, and she's able to recover in time to get Williams, and that'll be 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, and good job from Leggy in the circle right there. Is able to put a glove on it, but only deflect it at first. Does a good job to settle herself down, make sure she finds the ball, understands that she still has plenty of time to make the play, and gets the ball over to first base in plenty of time.
So 2 down, Christina Kish, 1 for 2 on the day, had a single back in the first, reached in the 4th on a hard luck E3. A line chopper that took a carom over the glove of the first baseman back in the 4th inning. Heading the count 1-0. Fouled off to even 1-1. Tigers won game 1 of this series 9-1. And then Centenary fought back with a 2-1 victory yesterday. Collectively, Tiger pitching doing a great job this weekend, only allowing the 3 runs. Leggy with the 2-1. Kish will swing through, and it's now 2-2. I like the idea, but the execution not there, and the count runs full. Leggy without a 1-2-3 inning so far.
Yeah, and you can credit that to some really great at-bats from these Tiger hitters. Kish right here doing a great job extending this at-bat by fouling pitches off.
And that will be the first 1-2-3 of the afternoon for Centenary. And we go to the 6th inning here in San Antonio. We've got a lovely day for softball, and got 2 innings left, barring a rally here from Centenary. Should be fun for the next 2 frames. We'll be back in a bit. Top of the 6th inning here. Holbrook only allowed 2 hits so far on the day and 2 walks as well. And one of those walks was to Kaylee Patridge. Patridge will step in now. First pitch swinging in that one. Not a lot of room here at the Trinity softball field. You can get one fouled off. It's a little bit more than about 10 feet from the line. You're going to get that one out of play, and that one just does get out of play. Chopper right back to Holbrook. There's one down.
Yeah, and a good job by Holbrook again. Works ahead in the count. And we've seen quite a bit of contact from the ladies in this offensive lineup for Centenary. But the one thing that they've really been missing is consistent hard contact. We saw a ball earlier in the game hit deep into right center field. A ball in the last half inning hit sharply back up the middle. But other than that, lots of soft contact and balls that have stayed in the infield for the ladies.
The first pitch fouled up and away. And Weber trying to get a focal point on it, but it's able to hit off the fence, creating a dead ball. 0-1. And with Holbrook throwing as many strikes, you can't necessarily say that, Centenary just needs to be more patient at the plate. Because I think Holbrook will just find a way to continue to get everybody deep into an 0-2 count or something like that.
If anything, you might argue that they need to be a little more aggressive at the plate. Holbrook working ahead so often here today, more than likely that Centenary is going to be able to see a hittable pitch and the first couple of each at-bat, but more often than not choosing a little bit more of a conservative approach, and that's caused them to fall behind quite a bit today.
And we've seen that now with both Lewis and Patridge swinging at the first pitch and fouling it off. Now Lewis ahead 3-1. That one in the zone and popped up. Slavic over at short. Will have a routine catch. Now 2 down.
Yeah, good job by Vaslavic right there. Has looked really within herself at shortstop today. Very impressed by the first year out captaining the infield. Unfortunate for her that she got pinned with an error earlier in the game. A tough in-between play. One that even if she had fielded cleanly after it snuck under the glove of the third baseman, would have been a really tough throw to make all the way across the diamond.
And Bates at bat. Daigle had pinch run for her earlier, and she's the designated player, so getting Bates reinserted as she had officially been reinserted as she walked up to the plate here. Now looking at a 1-1 count. Had the first hit of the afternoon for Centenary with that double into right center back in the 4th inning.
Yeah, and a similar start to this at-bat that she had in that one. Bates did a really good job fighting, fouling a ton of pitches off in that at-bat, and she'll have her work cut out for her here again.
Yeah, she drew the count full before she was able to catch a pitch that was just left up over the middle. Was able to drive it. And drives another pitch. That one's down the left field line, and it'll be a single this time. But now 2 for 3 on the day for Bates. And that puts somebody on now with 2 down for Centenary. Just their 3rd hit of the day. And right now, if you're Holbrook up 3-0, you can afford to not let that bother you any and just deal with Britland Garrett here at the plate.
Yeah, you're right, especially considering the fact that Holbrook's already recorded the first 2 outs in the top of the 6th. The ladies have had some traffic on the bases, as we see that one fouled off down the third base line. One thing that the ladies haven't been able to do is consistently find or put runners on base with less than 2 outs, and I think that's been one of the biggest issues on the day for Centenary.
Just struggling in general to figure out Holbrook. And that one out ahead of it was Garrett. She pulls it foul out now behind 0-2. So even though she's been aggressive and come out swinging with a runner on, she now still finds herself behind in the count. And the advantage shifts heavily for Holbrook. And that's a pitch that Holbrook all afternoon has gotten people to go after and chase. A good job by Garrett to hold off. She can't hold off on that one, and it's a fantastic pitch from Holbrook on the 1-2. You see the excitement from teammates coming out of the dugout. Take another look at it. Really good slider. That'll take us to the bottom half of the 6th, and we'll be back here in just a bit. Bottom half of the 6th inning. It's going to be Kat Weber to lead us off. 1 for 2 on the day. Had a single and a run scored the last at bat. Tigers 5 for 21 overall in the day. And Holbrook holding Centenary to a 136 average, 3 for 22. And you mentioned it in the last half inning there with not being able to do much. So that one's going to be a fantastic catch by Clark, the shortstop. Robbing Weber of a hit.
Yeah, tough play right there for Weber. Really hard hit ball and just a perfectly timed jump there out at shortstop. Otherwise, that one likely kicking off the glove. But Leggy helped out by some good defense there.
Elizondo goes foul down the right field line. Elizondo with a walk and a run scored in the fourth, struck out in the second. And as referencing back to your point, you'd mentioned that Centenary, even when they are able to get some hits in this game, they've all come with 2 out and they haven't been able to do anything. Well, they're 0 for 8 with runners on. And so the job that Holbrook has done once a runner has gotten on today has just been fantastic. Trinity, meanwhile, 4 for 11 with runners on. So they've gotten 5 hits, and then 4 of those 5 have been with runners on. So they're really taking advantage of the limited opportunities that they're getting at the plate. And, of course, Brooke Porter opened the game wide open back in the 4th inning with her first collegiate hit and her first collegiate RBIs, bases clearing single, where she got 2 RBI out of it. Elizondo looks at that one up high, and it's not 1-2. Next game for the Tigers will be Tuesday night here in San Antonio. They'll have a home game against Our Lady of the Lake. Our Lady of the Lake coming across town. 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. The anticipated start times, but realistically 5 o'clock and then 30 minutes after the conclusion of game 1. Swung on and missed by Elizondo, the changeup from Leji for the second out of the inning. I'll bring up the senior of Slavic. One for 2 on the day. Single back in the 4th. Advanced all the way to 3rd before the inning was over. She reached back in the 2nd on an error. And, excuse me, this is going to be MK Stark, the substitution. And her first at-bat of the afternoon. Stark 222 on the year. Junior out of Belleville. Speed pitch catches Stark out in front.
Yeah, and Leji has responded really well, has her stuff working just the way she wants it to right now. Unfortunate for her in that bottom of the 4th where the Tigers were able to scratch across 3 runs. Started with a fielding error, and it was followed up by a couple of hits, but if you've been with us today, you'll remember that those were a couple of bunts that were misplayed in the infield. Just tough breaks for Centenary. And then Porter followed that up. But Leji has responded nicely with the strikeout there to send this one to the top of the 7th inning with the ladies down just 3 runs and a chance to get back in it.
And top of the 7th, Holbrook back out there. 96 pitches through 6. And Wilkinson 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch swinging. And an error on Vlasovic over at shorts. So the leadoff runner aboard, exactly what Centenary needed to have. And that'll bring up Dominguez. Isabel Dominguez 0 for 2 on the day. Reached on an error and popped up to second.
Dominguez stands in as the 8th spot in this ladies' batting order. You think here in the top of the 7th inning, down 3 runs, after that first batter of the inning was able to reach, that Centenary will need one of these, at least one of these 8 and 9 hitters to reach base as they look to come back here.
Yeah, exactly the point. Centenary can't tie the game with one swing anywhere. At least not until they've put a few on. And Holbrook now 1 and 2. She gets called strike. Both pitchers with 100 pitches on the afternoon. Leggy finishing at exactly 100. This one popped up. And Slavic unable to make the catch there as it's crossing over into foul territory. So 1 and 2 will be the count.
Yeah, and earlier in the broadcast we mentioned that wind is blowing from right field across to left field, so perhaps that ball just carrying in the wind, just out of reach for the Tiger shortstop.
Yeah, it would have been drifting away from her, making that a very tough catch. That one, good location, hitting the spot given by Kat Weber, but it misses. Now 2 and 2. On first, and this one hit into the gap. 4th hit of the day for Centenary, and heads up running by Wilkinson is going to go first to third. So now runners on the corners here for the ladies, and now 1 pitch, 1 swing can tie things up. You're down at your 9 spot if you are a ladies fan. That is Mallory Stout. We'll see if does look like indeed she is waiting on deck. See Abby Martin out there. Have a conversation with Holbrook and Weber. To this point, Holbrook has looked almost unhittable at times. Coming into this inning, she'd only given up 3 hits, and 2 of those were to Bates. The other one to Cox, who awaits on deck. And for the Tigers here, you're going to want to get the outs. You'll trade a run for an out, particularly, I think, if you can get the lead runner at second on a force.
I'd agree with you on that. For the ladies from Centenary, I think they have to be really happy with where they're at right here. Coming up to bat in the top of the 7th inning, down 3 runs. You're not incredibly excited having your 7, 8, 9 hole hitters due up to the plate, but 7 and 8 have done their job here. And if you're Stout at the plate, you're looking to keep it going, trying to reach base safely. More than anything, wanting to turn this lineup over to the top of the order with runners in scoring position.
And for Holbrook, you want to go for the shutout, but the bigger thing is just getting the win. You got a 3-run cushion. You can afford to let one of the runs score. And I think you're just kind of back into that mindset of where you've been all afternoon. Runner gets on and it's okay. Usually it happened with 2 outs. So you just sit there and you focus on the next batter at hand. And I think even with nobody out here, that's got to be the mindset. Just focus on the batter at hand. If you take care of all the batters at the plate, you're in good shape to close this one out. Meanwhile, Centenary looking to continue their bats swinging through, and this one flown out to Monaco at center, and they're not going to test her arm. You can see she's fired that one in there, hits the cutoff on Whitman. Wilkinson would not have been able to score. That one was a little shallow, but also Trinity outfielder. So some pretty solid arms out there. Monaco probably the leader of the group.
Yeah, but Holbrook did a great job there. Did exactly as you said and really focused in on the batter at hand. Wasn't too concerned with the base runners there. It appeared as Cox fouls that one off down the left side. Holbrook just needs to continue to come at these hitters in the top of the order because, as we've talked about, they've struggled to put the ball in play with really solid contact consistently. So she's going to test them here and make them do exactly that.
See Elizondo shading a little bit more up the middle. That's where Cox sent a rocket back up the middle back in the 5th inning. Also to help with a potential steal attempt or double play ball situation. She could find herself into a really good spot if Cox is able to put one back into play up the middle. She's behind in the count, 0-2. One down here, runners on the corners. And we'll do the 0-2 once again. Yeah, Holbrook really hasn't had to dig deep and fight in an inning so far. You know, 2 base runners early on in the game, but was able to escape out of that rather easily. This one chopped. Holbrook will allow the runner to move forward. She'll take the out. And they'll throw it back across. Runners will be safe. So now 2nd and 3rd as Cox grounds out, and you're going to take that. Now you got 2 outs. Then you can definitely just sit there and focus on the batter at hand, and the batter at hand is going to be Mackenzie Clark. The shortstop who's had an impressive day in the field, but 0 for 2 at the plate. First pitch left high, 1-0. Fouled off. Patridge 0 for 2 awaits on deck. And then Lewis. All before they can get back to Bates, who's got 2 hits on the day. 1-1. Too far to the outside, and it's now 2-1. Not getting the call on the outside corner there. It's 3-1. Count runs full. And the 3-2. Lofted out of play down the left field side. Do it once again. 5 Ks through this point. That one fouled off. Five strikeouts, just 4 hits allowed. She's also given up 2 walks. Throwing 79 out of her 118s for strikes. This one put into play, but it's going to get down, or out, I should say, as the dugout jets out right about that spot. You can see how it does on the right hand of your screen. The visitor's dugout and the home dugout does very similar. So we'll do the full count once again. First base open. And that one left just low. Looked like it might have come in a little bit low, and so now the bases are loaded. Have a quick visit before we get to the next batter. Patridge on today 0 for 2. Also had a walk back in the first. Fielder's choice in the third and a ground out to the pitcher in her last at bat.
As Weber made that stroll out to the circle, you could see Holbrook take a little bit of a stroll around her domain, a little bit of a smile on her face, not too happy with that call, but still within herself right here. Hasn't been flustered by the no calls from behind the plate. Just continued to work, continued to attack the zone, and falls behind 1-0 here, but expecting her to come back.
No one's inside, 2-0. Nowhere to put Patridge. But a 3-run cushion here for the Tigers, thanks to Brooke Porter's pinch hit. Bases clearing single. That one will catch for a strike. And it's now 2-1. Playable, but to Holbrook. She sends it over to Whitman at first, and that will do it. The shutout for Allie Holbrook and the victory here for Trinity as they take Game 3 of this series 7-1 and take the series, winning the first game 9-1. Centenary fighting back, taking Game 2 yesterday afternoon 2-1, and then a fantastic job by Allie Holbrook getting the win here for the Tigers. She goes 7 complete, allows 4 hits, strikes out 5, 3 walks included on that. And for the Tigers, base hits today from Della Luna, Kish, Weber, Vlaslavic, and of course Porter's. Big gap into right center with the bases loaded. She gets 2 RBIs, but it brought home all 3 batters. And the Tigers will take the victory, take the series. They improve to 10-9 on the season. And for Centenary, they fall to 15-14. They also fall to 8-6 in conference play. Trinity moving up to 6-7 in conference play. Tigers' next game will be here against Our Lady of the Lake. That'll be 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock on this Tuesday. And for Centenary, it's not going to be an easy task. They welcome Texas Lutheran. 3 conference games and a non-conference game over the weekend. Luke, your thoughts on the first game that you called?
Very impressed by the Tigers. It was really a complete team win. They got some hits up and down the lineup, but saw the veteran presence in the circle. Holbrook anchored this team. saw a great piece of hitting by Brooke Porter, who came through with a bases-clearing double, and more than anything, I think the Tigers will be happy with the momentum that they'll be able to carry forward from this game. Talked a little bit in the open about the fact that the Tigers came in sitting in 6th place in the SCAC, are able to steal a series victory against Centenary this weekend, the number 3 team in the conference. They've already played the top 2 teams, so the Tigers will look to move forward, trying to boost their record as they play a couple more series against some teams in the bottom half of the conference moving forward.
And we'll hope to see you here on Tuesday night. And for everybody else, thank you for tuning in today, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And for Luke Terry, I'm Josh Muchgamba. Thank you for joining us here on the Tiger Network. Take care.